Da, 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 da.
And that took pretty quick, actually. Hello, one, hello, all. Welcome to this edition of Show Business. Monday is bad for Lindsay, apparently. Which, yeah, whatever. He's not here today again, but in his place, the
We replaced him easily.
yeah, with ease, and we brought our audience up by about 5 times with Cody Leach joining us.
Yeah, the C team.
Thank you, the C team. Thank you for joining in such short notice.
No problem.
Patrick says, "Sup, fellas," and Emily. Patrick says hello.
Shall now be called the C Cup.
And Peter, of course, as always. Peter, say hello.
As always, I got nothing else to do except hang out with CP and talk movies. So.
Yeah, always free.
Nothing on my channel, but I got lots of time for CPs.
All right, so to the weekend that is not it.
CPs.
Hold on. Shit.
Graphic, though. That was
Spoilers.
A good graphic.
Dope. Nope. That
was a good graphic.
Oops. So there it is. We were kind of right last week, Peter.
Yeah, if we'd known Acrimony was going to be out.
Right. So we neglected the Friday release, which was Tyler Perry's Acrimony, which made 17 million. So wow. Tyler Perry's still a strong draw, but Ready Player One, of course, a shock to nobody.
I'm a little shocked it didn't make more than that, but
they said that I'm only doing from Friday through Sunday. Thursday it brought in like 12 million, I think. So that's a pretty big first day, and I can only imagine just refuses to die.
I was gonna say Christians, man, Christians, they just keep going and see this movie.
Mm-hmm.
And I am one, but I haven't gone and saw that movie. I went and saw Ready Player One.
Yeah, if you look at that setup right there, you have a Christian. Listen, I don't know anything about the movie. It probably isn't very strong. Acrimony, the IMDb score isn't very strong. Black Panther's been around forever. And you have the 2 new releases that were in 5th and 7th, respectively.
Yeah.
Pacific Rim was in 5th with 9 million, and Tomb Raider in 7th with just under 5. So
and then what did God's Not Dead 3 make? Like 2 million?
Yeah, 2. And
didn't I tell you that was gonna bomb? The first
Unsane,
one.
what did Unsane end up at?
Unsane, I think.
It was in
15 or some shit.
It was in 5 theaters, and in 5 theaters. It was showing in my bathroom. In 5 theaters. It's like it was barely out anywhere.
Unsane is 16th with 1.45 million on just under 2,000 screens.
Did Isle of Dogs beat it again?
It did. Isle of Dogs was in 11th. With just under 3 million on 165 screens.
Jeez, give it a wide release already.
Yeah. So Tomb Raider barely beat Isle of Dogs with about 2,600 more screens.
That's
Yeah. So, Ready Player One, guys. What do you think? We all saw it.
I enjoyed it. I had a good time.
All right, sorry, I forgot I'm talking to 3 people. Cody, why don't you start?
Yeah, I was going to say, Cody, you go first.
I had a good time. It was it kind of harkened back to that feel of like the old 80s adventure movies. You know what I mean? It not just because of all the references. It just kind of had that tone, that feel to it. It kind of had that the magic, if you will.
Yeah.
It was a big video gamer, so I mean, it's for all intents and purposes probably the best video game movie ever made. It kind of gave me some Avatar vibes.
Yeah.
I even got a little bit. I never heard anybody drop this one, but it kind of gave me even a little bit of Page Master vibes for anybody that remembers that movie.
With Macaulay Culkin.
Macaulay Culkin, old school.
Yeah. So it was fun. It was a good time at the theater. It was the graphics and the CGI and the action, everything was great. All the 80s references was great, even though I'm kind of getting burnt out on that trend. Especially I won't spoil it for those that haven't seen it, but there is about a 10-minute segment that will be a horror lover's dream.
Oh, you're talking about the middle, right? When they go to a movie?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, that was pure gold. I had smile ear to ear the whole time.
I was all but masturbating during that scene.
Yes, exactly. I mean, I didn't go over the moon for the main character. Like, I'm not gonna remember the movie for him, but other than that, it was just a damn good time. I actually regret that I didn't bring my son because he would have went nuts for it.
How old's your son?
He is 10.
Yeah, he probably would have liked it a lot.
And he's a video game freak, so I mean, as soon as that movie started, he would have been like, "Oh, best movie of my life."
Yeah.
Yeah. Peter.
I liked it. We've talked. Cody, have you read the book?
I have not. I've heard it's quite a bit different.
Okay, it's so different. Everything is different pretty much. Like it's a very skeleton transfer of the thing. Saying that, I enjoyed the movie.
Right.
Like cool. I enjoyed the movie. I like the book better, which I hate being that guy that says that because, like, I hate when people are like, the book is so much, but it's like in this case, the book is way better. It's just
Peter.
You're not alone on that too. I have a buddy of mine, Sean Chandler. He said the same thing. He's like, for the first time ever, he opened his review. For the first time ever, I can say the book is better than the movie.
It's better than the movie.
See, I have read the book. I listened to the book.
Yeah.
I know what you're griping on, Peter. If not only the first key. The way I think about it cinematically, how are you supposed to do that in a different way?
There's dude. If you'd given that movie to someone who this
playing
is not
Joust,
give that movie to David Fincher. I guarantee you, he makes that interesting. Give that movie to Nolan. I guarantee you, makes that interesting. Give it to Spielberg, not so much. Spielberg likes big action set pieces, and he's awesome at big action set pieces. And that's why they're like, let's change the thing and make it a race. And it's like, it's going to be, we'll have dinosaurs, which is Jurassic Park references. And then we'll have King Kong. It's like, we can throw everything in there. And I get why they change things. I think
it works more cinematically that way.
Oh, cinematically, it works better. Is it a better story? No, it's definitely, I felt the story itself was incredibly rushed.
You brought up Nolan. Did anybody else get Inception vibes for the third act?
Oh, yeah.
With the driving and things going on while driving?
Oh, yeah.
A little bit, yeah.
I was like, we're driving a van and doing things while driving. Interesting.
Yeah.
And speaking on the change, sometimes that's kind of the unfortunate thing when you transfer from a comic or a book or even a video game, you have to change certain things. And sometimes you're never going to get as good as it was whenever your imagination is running with you with a book. But I'd much rather them change it to make it fit the cinematic experience better than do what a lot of movies have done and try to keep it exactly like Bible, exactly like the book, and then it just does not translate at all.
Yeah. Yeah. I think it would have made a better Netflix series where they had time to explore everything and and I think they should probably still do that if they could. Like, there's no reason they can't have Ready Player One the movie and Ready Player One the series. Like, you could do both and appease everyone, but like certain things they changed that I'm like, that makes sense. Again, the race totally makes it. The race doesn't exist at all in the book. But it makes sense. It's very cinematic. It's very fun. It was very enjoyable. Certain things they changed that I'm like, why did they change that? There was no need to change that at all.
Do you think the movie is changed for rights issues? Because the movie,
some of this stuff, yeah.
Because they replicate, what is it, war games in the book?
War games, yeah.
And he has to like do the lines that Matthew Broderick does.
Yeah.
I guess probably maybe that doesn't translate. I mean, I don't know. Maybe it's I don't know.
It could have been done. Maybe I have no clue if they could have got the rights to war games. I have no clue if that would have been a possibility. But yeah, there's certain things I understood why they changed them. There's certain things I think they just changed them because it would be easier. And then they're like, well, we're set to this narrative now, so we're going to do this. And it's like screw the book. We're going to keep this and this in the book, but we're going to just make the rest of the story what we want it to fit this. And in that, it was entertaining. I was entered. I enjoyed the movie.
Absolutely. I'm thankful for it.
I gave it 4 out of 5. So like I'm totally entertained, but part of me was just like, oh. And like, I'm not usually like that with movies. Like the only other movie, I'll be honest, the only other book I really loved that got turned into a movie that I hate and I won't ever watch that movie anymore is The Hobbit. I've read The Hobbit a bunch of times, and like I don't even ever want to see those films again. This I'll gladly watch. I'll buy it when it comes out. I'll watch it. It's just in my mind, I got to literally split it down the middle and go, this is Ready Player One, the book, and this is Ready Player One, the movie, and they are drastically different things. And they're just like, it would have been easier if they went inspired by the book Ready Player One, because then it's like, yeah, I can see where you're getting inspiration, but you're totally changing like a gazillion things just because it's easier or because it's more cinematic or because, a lot of it have felt rushed to me. That was my main complaint. Like Parzival, if you haven't seen it, it's a bit of a spoiler for that. He meets the woman for the second time and tells her he loves her. It's like, dude, you just met this woman. It's like, now in the book that makes perfect sense. By that point in the book, when they meet at this club in the book,
the end.
They've been chat dating and going on quests together for months. And then they meet in this club, like they do this club thing, and he says he loves her. That makes perfect sense. And this one, it's literally his second time being in the same room with her, or third time, and he's like, I love you. Well, I'm just like,
I think you're neglecting the fact that this technically is a young adult novel. So
yeah,
there's that teenagey.
It felt rushed. That's all. It just felt kind of rushed. But again, I enjoyed it thoroughly. I like everything. Every complaint I have, there's a cool thing they put in place, and Chucky being the coolest. They used that one F-bomb properly. That was like,
oh, that's right. Yeah.
And it was funny because like there's little gripes I have with the movie, even about that, because like things that makes it like, okay, Chucky goes and kills like 5 guys on the screen, and then it cuts to the real world, and 5 guys that are lined up on this in the thing in the suits go do. And I'm like, there's no way those 5 guys in a big multiplayer game would be all beside each other still. Like, it doesn't work like that. But I'm like, you know what? Just forget it. It looked cool. And like, I understand, again, cinematically, it's like 5 guys died, 5 guys go, it's like, whatever. But yeah, I enjoyed it. I think it's good. It hopefully will win next weekend. I don't know what it's going up against, but
I don't think so.
Quiet Place.
Quiet Place and Cock Blockers.
Well, I'm gonna get roped into watching that fucking movie too. I've already been asked. Have you seen the trailer for this? Yes, I've seen it. I don't want to see it.
Yeah.
Hello to Mary, Daniel, Low Carb, and Jeff Floyd in the chat. Hey. So
they're all from my channel. You're welcome.
I think.
My channel brings 0 viewership to this. I don't know why CP keeps me around. I think it's because of good looks. But
so the death of Maze Runner, I thought was like the final nail in the coffin as far as young adult adaptations is concerned. But does this count as like some sort of breath of life?
I don't think so, because it's not a franchise. Like if they were to like, I think this could have been made really well slower if they'd done it as 3 movies, like from like one for each key, kind of like one for each quest in the book and stuff. But they did. They're like, screw it, we're gonna do it as one big movie. It's gonna be an hour or 2 hours and 20 minutes or whatever it was, and it's all gonna wrap up in the end. And that's the movie. There's no franchise here. If they did a sequel, I'd be pissed, because there's no sequel. There's no need for a sequel to this. I think it ended up, they wrapped it up well enough in the 2 hours and 20 minutes that where are you going to go in a sequel? There's no need for one. There's no franchise here. This is a movie. Let it be a movie.
No, I don't think it would. Until you mentioned that it was a young adult novel, that never even entered my mind, because it just doesn't have that young adult movie feel to it at all. Big summer blockbuster. When you see a young adult movie with, The Hunger Games is kind of the slight exception, because that feels a little bit more higher quality than most of them. But when you watch a young adult movie, usually you're like, oh, this is straight off of some book that everybody's gushing over in 7th grade. So I don't think anybody's going to connect those dots.
I don't know if I'd call it a young adult novel. Like most of the people I know that have read it are all in their 30s and 40s. Because it's like it has 80s nostalgia, and it's like 16-year-olds don't care about 80s nostalgia, right? It's like a lot of the people who have become fans of it are all like, Will Wheaton reads the freaking thing. Most 16-year-olds only know who Will Wheaton is because of Big Bang Theory. So I think it's more. It's a adventure type novel, but it wasn't aimed at young people. It was just aimed at, I think it was aimed at me, literally. It was aimed at geeks from the 80s who would like it. And
Ernest
it
Cline said
because
for Peter. This book is for Peter.
No, he didn't. He went, this book is for the bearded fat guy who's living, who still loves video games and has talks about how great the 80s were. That's because that's what he is. I don't know if you've ever seen Ernest Cline, but that's basically what he is. Like, he drives a DeLorean. Like, he's an 80s fanboy that just like keyed into something that worked. But that's what he is. So
see, I would say it's the closest thing that we have. Like, how long have I been saying this, Peter? Like, some sort of Back to the Future, Goonies. It's something like that. I mean, it's the closest step we've had in a while, and it's a shame that it leans so hard on them. Yeah, on the
freaking
nostalgia.
Has the DeLorean in it as his main vehicle.
Yeah, I mean, but like, that's kind of it leans, but it's also speaking to how online video game culture is, where you can have an avatar, you can have whatever the fuck you want. And, I mean, they explain it well enough, but at the same time, I'm kind of with Cody, where it's just like, all right, we get it. Can we rinse of the 80s now?
It's just the timing of the movie. Like, if this movie had come out maybe 4 years ago, this would have started the huge 80s trend, not Stranger Things. For sure would have. And it's just, and I love the 80s. That's the shame of it. But it's like Stranger Things came out, and now it feels like everything has to have 80s shoehorned into it. Like, even the Strangers Pray at Night, to me, I was like, why does this have so much 80s vibe in it?
Yes.
Like, it doesn't serve the movie at all.
Yeah, it's a hell of a point. Yeah, the music just shoehorned in for the sake of it. Yeah,
hey guys, 80s.
Yeah, the new thing, and especially in horror, is to have that like synth sound too, which is like
it's the everything old is new again.
Well, shall we be getting onto 90s then? Some MC Hammer pants in movies.
They had that Everything Sucks show. But I don't really think that's going to really kick it off like Stranger Things did.
So yeah, this upcoming week is A Quiet Place. I'm sure that Isle of Dogs is going to get another 20 screens or whatever. And Cock Blockers.
Yes.
Excuse me, they call it Blockers, but
yeah, they're just calling them Blockers.
Wink.
Yeah. Zach and Miri.
You're right. Exactly. So because I keep thinking about things like Tomb Raider and Pacific Rim, which, granted, nobody seemed to be excited for Tomb Raider. Pacific Rim, I would have figured at least some sort of something off of both the original and John Boyega and his Star Wars-ness. But they've both kind of faded relatively fast. Is that to say the same thing for Ready Player One?
No.
I'm hoping not.
I don't think so. I honestly, I think people nowadays are so much more clued into, how movies go and the names and everything like that. I think that everybody found out that Guillermo del Toro was not directing the second one, and they just waited for the buzz, and the buzz was so. Ready Player One, everybody seems to love it, with the exception of Lee. But everybody seems to.
Hold on.
Well, I'll give it a week.
Did Lee not like it?
Lee gave it 4 stars and said it's okay.
Wait a minute. Has he seen it twice though?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
No. Don't even until Lee
it doesn't count. Twice. Doesn't count as a Lee watch.
Like, too many times Lee's been like, "This is the worst thing," 2 stars, and then watches it again. I am totally wrong. 4.5 stars. It's like, I'm like, how can you be that wrong about a movie? Like, I understand. Like, listen, when I saw Blade Runner for the first time, I thought, well, that was a cool movie, but I don't get what everyone talks about. Like, this was years ago. Now I'm like, Blade Runner is freaking amazing, but I've seen it like 6 times.
Right. And it has to grow on you a bit too.
I've got older with it, right? Like, I
turn around.
It's like, but like literally, it's like. I saw the movie today. I don't like it. And then it's just the next day. It's brilliant. I was totally wrong. And I'm like, how do you freaking do that? It's like, I don't understand. I've never been that turned around on a movie that fast.
I have a suspicion that Lee is a lot like my dad. I think they're cut from the same cloth because my dad's enjoyment of a movie, 85% of it is his mood.
Oh,
if he's
really?
Pissed off, or if he's tired, or if work sucked, or whatever, he could be watching fucking Citizen Kane. It doesn't matter, and he'll be like, "That was some bullshit. I'm not watching that movie again." Like, so I think he's a less extreme version of my dad. But yeah, well, we love you.
He did, of course. Love is always.
Yes.
He did say that he had a rough time when he watched Black Panther, which I'll give him a pseudo pass on. So, you know, stress affects movies. I'll say that much. But
yes,
still, it's
will.
Still common.
But to what I was saying, but I haven't really heard anybody say that they just don't like Ready Player One. Like, it seems like everybody either enjoyed it or loved it, and it feels like one of those movies that the word of mouth is going to keep it going. It's a movie that it's basically the whole family can go, adults, nostalgia, kids. I mean, it kind of fits the whole thing. So it's going to be one of those repeat experiences. So I think Ready Player One's probably going to hang on until maybe Avengers. Maybe not number one, but it'll be up in the top 5 until Avengers. Yeah.
Avengers is what, the 28th, the 27th?
Yeah, 27th.
Yeah, because the 13th,
26th, really, because everyone comes out on Thursday.
Right. So the 13th is Rampage, which I'm pretty sure it'll do strongly.
It's a Rock movie. People love The Rock.
Yeah, and it's getting advertising like
it does look fun. I'm usually one who's, as much as I love The Rock, I wish he would do other things. But I watched the trailer when I saw Ready Player One. I'm like, this could go either way. This could be really shitty, or this could be actually a damn good. Like, it is turn your brain off movie.
It's a video game movie. You guys know that, right?
Sure, technically, sure.
No, it's a video game movie.
Yeah, about monsters that climb up buildings and break them, and then you have to take the people out.
That's what it looks like.
There's not much story to that game.
It's pretty accurate.
It's like saying, Pong the movie, it was a video game. Oh, really? Was it? Awesome.
Hey, Pong the movie had layers. Don't even start with this.
So I think
Pong The Rock, 101. It's slow motion. That's right.
The Rock is like the modern day Schwarzenegger, where he just makes fun shit or just stuff where it's just like, oh, this is no. Yeah. Because Baywatch was a miss, and nothing's too serious with him too.
Yeah, but nothing that's a miss ever really sticks to him all that hard.
Right, exactly.
Right? Like he just he missed, he does things, and like I haven't seen Baywatch, but from every person that told me it wasn't good, no one has gone, The Rock was terrible. Everyone's just gone, it wasn't a good movie. Yeah. Right? So it's like nothing's like, this is a guy who did freaking Tooth Fairy, and it's like
it's come a long way since Tooth Fairy.
Yeah, I know, but like nothing sticks to him that's bad. It's like if a movie doesn't do well, it's just like, it wasn't a good movie. It has nothing to do with The Rock being in it. And then if it does well, it's The Rock's in it. Of course, it's a good movie. Mm-hmm. He's got that magic touch. He is the modern day Schwarzenegger. He's also like big and strong and all that stuff too. So, have you guys seen The Rundown?
Yes, that was with Sean William Scott, right?
Yeah. There's the scene in that where literally at the very beginning, Schwarzenegger is walking out of the club, and The Rock's walking into the club, and he literally goes, "Good luck," and just walks away. And it's like the total, like, we watched it a little while ago. My daughter's like, it was Schwarzenegger. It was like they were saying it like there's, just passing the torch. And I'm like, yeah, it's exactly what he was doing. He's like, I can't do this anymore the same way I used to. Good luck with it. It's like, so I got 2 Codys on my screen. I don't know if you guys.
We lost Cody for a second.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cody, isn't what's that shitty movie coming out on Friday the 13th? Is it Truth or Dare?
Oh God!
Bite your tongue.
Coming out 13th.
It's coming out soon. I don't know if I have it's got to be Friday the 13th. Truth or Dare. We're like, I've seen the trailer and I'm. Bye Bye Man 2018 is what I'm thinking.
It's always hard to tell with Blumhouse because Blumhouse makes everything look like this could go horribly wrong, but you get the surprise every once in a while. Like I really enjoyed Happy Death Day. I thought that movie was gonna suck ass.
Yeah.
And then I watched Truth or Dare, and I see the trailer, and I'm like, it looks really exactly what you said. Bye bye, man. It looks like something that somebody just in a boardroom they said, let's do a Truth or Dare movie. Okay, fuck it. You go write it.
Oh yeah, I did see the Truth or Dare commercial. I was like trying to figure out what movie you're talking about.
They'll get like Joker faces.
Yeah. It's like a guy tricks them out to doing the game, and then like because he wants to survive or whatever, right?
It looks like It Follows or something.
Yeah, like literally, it's like I know we'll take the game, but we'll take It Follows, and then we'll make it part of the game. It's like,
yeah,
that's exactly what it looks like.
Yeah, I would. I mean, so to kind of backtrack to this upcoming week, A Quiet Place currently. See, this is I really try not to. This is another thing I think Lee does. I think Lee gets influenced by the Rotten Tomatoes score on his first viewing. Quiet Place is at 100 right now.
Yeah,
and I don't know how I feel about that.
Well, it's like wait and see it, and then but it looks good.
It's one of those. It's the Get Out thing.
Yeah,
it's exactly the same thing that happened to Get Out. You have somebody that you don't expect to do a horror movie that ends up being hopefully really good, and the few critics that have seen it go, "Holy shit, that was really good!" And then 100%, it might mean 14 critics liked it.
Yeah,
who knows? I haven't looked at the numbers, but it'll that number will change quickly once it starts getting like a wide screening.
Right, I would hope so. I mean, listen, if it, I don't think any film is perfect. Has there been any movie to get 100?
Get Out stayed at 100 until if I'm not mistaken, there's some dude on Rotten Tomatoes who's like famous for giving thumbs downs to.
I know who you're talking about.
Yes,
I don't know his name.
They made a big deal out of it because he's the one that fucked up their 100. It went to like 99 because he put a review out. So I think it stayed up there for a long fucking time.
Yeah, Get Out.
Whether or not it would have, yeah.
I finally saw that movie like about 3 weeks ago, and it's good.
99% on Rotten.
Well, no, it's good. I didn't put it with some of the other Oscars that I've seen. So it wasn't as good as Dunkirk or Shape of Water, or I still haven't seen Billboards yet. But it wasn't like the ones that I was like, oh, it wasn't as good as them, but it was good. It was a very solid film, and it actually made me ask a lot of questions. I still have questions. There's people I'd like to talk to it about because there's things that I'm like, so was this and this? It's like, what do you But it's like it was a pretty solid movie, but to get 100% on Rotten Tomatoes just means everyone loves it, and it's just like, well, you can love it and it still not be the best film of the year.
Well, at least it's original, right? Like, I mean, the one thing I guess I could say positively, as somebody who's rooting for horror, is it's an original idea. It's technically a horror, and it's getting this praise. So hopefully it could break through. Top 3, I would assume. I mean, idiots are going to go see Blockers and just it's an R-rated comedy with those gags. Yeah. But it just seems so like I can't. This year I can't figure it out. Last year there were strong movies early. You had Split. It seemed like last year was the early, like January through March. It just felt like it was great horror movies. And this year it's just everything's falling by the wayside because Black Panther's just annihilating.
It decimated everything.
Right. So I don't know how to, figure what's going on. And then once Avengers comes out, it's just like
it's over.
Bye. But that's 3 weeks away now. So there's not much I would say strong after this week because all right, so Rampage looks like fun, which Jumanji was, and who saw that amount of money that movie made coming? Yeah. And then the week after that is Super Troopers, which okay.
Oh, God.
It won't do anything.
Nope. That was crowdfunded.
A little too late.
Yeah. Seriously, I'm like, I like the first one, but I'm like, this is really long after. It's like, it's
hard. They have not learned from that. There has not been a single comedy from the 90s, early 2000s that's got this long-awaited sequel that has been good. We got Zoolander 2. We got Dumb and Dumber 2. and it's just like, you're doing it like 15 years too fucking late.
Almost every movie, like there's like a handful of films that have had that second movie be years past, like Blade Runner 2049.
Worked. Rare exception.
They're rare exceptions. Most of it's like, if you don't strike within the first 2 years of your movie being out and get a sequel out, you've waited too long. And
Godfather 3.
Yeah. People just don't care anymore. And then it's like, it doesn't have that magic that first film did. But
the problem I'm trying to think, other than Blade Runner, how many long-term sequels has there been that have been, if not successful, good? It's not a lot.
Like another 48 Hours might have been was an okay movie, and that had like at least a couple years in between the two.
Terminator Genesis.
Yeah.
I was thinking about Die Hard 4, and I'm like,
yeah.
Well, those movies had a decent little breaks between them, but you're talking about a movie that, like, the first one everybody says is a classic, and then, like, when's the sequel coming? And then 12 years pass, and then they finally decide, you know what? There's money there.
Like, heck, Ghostbusters waited too long. Like the original Ghostbusters 2 waited too long.
Wait, from 1 to 2, you're saying?
Yeah.
That was like 4 years.
That's a long while for, like, in between two.
Dude, movies. In the 80s, pre-internet, when people were just like, check the paper.
It still waited too long. Everyone, like, I remember when that came out, everyone's just like, yeah, it's just not the first one. And it's just like the magic's gone. And it, like, I like the second one, but, it isn't the first one, definitely. It doesn't have, like, it came off as a lot more stale.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, there's not a lot of movies that have had a big break in between the first one and the second one that have actually.
We haven't had
Blade Runner literally is like freaking an anomaly.
Well, I guess technically Star Wars, technically, but
that's a series,
right? So, and nobody in the chat said anything, so it's rare for that to happen. Correct. Yeah. So I guess I'll start with you, Cody. I keep forgetting to do this. Do you guys see anything winning 2 weeks in a row before Avengers with what we listed? I mean, Ready Player One could count if it still goes this weekend.
Ready Player One will hold it until Avengers comes out, I think, because, I mean, A Quiet Place has got a lot of buzz and a lot of excitement in the horror community, but unless it gets, like, insane buzz, like, it doesn't have the social context that Get Out did. That gave it a lot of boost too. So I don't see A Quiet Place making number one, even if it's great. Cock Blockers, I would fucking fall out of my chair with shock if it made number one over Ready Player One. Truth or Dare is not going to do it.
Rampage will be next week. I mean, I would assume matter what.
Rampage has a shot.
Rampage is next week, not this week, right?
Right. Rampage is the 13th.
I think Rampage will do it. I think this week
13th, 20th is what you're saying?
Yeah. I think Rampage, this week will be Ready Player One again, and next week Rampage will take it out. It'll fall to second, and then the week after that, it's freaking Rampage is gone because, like, number 1, 2, 3 spots are all going to be freaking Avengers. It's like, it's
doesn't Deadpool come out in May?
Yeah, they pushed it back, right? Forward.
No,
they pushed Avengers forward.
No, they pushed Deadpool forward too.
Yeah,
it was supposed to come out in June or something like that.
Because they axed every other fucking Fox movie that was supposed to come out this year.
It comes out the week before, so it has 3 weeks in between. If I'm remembering right, it goes Avengers and then 3 weeks Deadpool and then a week later Solo. So it's like they'll own.
Curious on what
they'll own those 3 weeks. Won't make as much as number one. I'm not thinking it will, but
no. I mean, the first one was like a freaking freight train.
It was lightning in a bottle. It was just like, whoa, this is like, what the frick is this?
It was in February, so it didn't really have anything to kick its ass.
And another thing is Avengers. I mean, it's set pre-order records or something.
Yeah.
So
it feels like every big movie every year does that though. Like the biggest movie of the year feels like it does that shit.
Yeah. So if
Star Wars has done that several times.
Listen, I have superhero fatigue, but clearly the rest of the country doesn't. So if Black Panther's any indicator, Avengers is just going to be what 220 opening weekend.
Yeah, easily.
Because I mean, shit, it has Black Panther in it. I mean, you get a you get a Black Panther sequel a mere 2 months later.
Yeah, pretty much. It's going to be huge. Yeah.
What was that, Cody?
Get this man a shield.
That sounds like a South African accent, but okay.
Close enough.
Daniel Hammond says, sad thing is, and he put a little chicken emoji, Cock Blockers is getting positive reviews now.
Yeah, it's not
I don't know.
Positive reviews?
Comedy, I love comedy so much, but I've gotten to the point where it's like I just lost all confidence and interest in comedies that come out nowadays. Like, I think the last comedy that genuinely like surprised me and I ended up loving it was last year, and it was The Big Sick. And it was a movie I basically heard nothing about.
That's like a romantic comedy too,
yeah.
I haven't seen
that
that
was
yet.
That was like a smartly written movie. Like if that movie came out 5 years prior, you would swear that Judd Apatow did it. It was that style of movie. But like it just seems like every comedy nowadays, you could just look at the trailer and be like, God, this is dog shit. Like it just looks like, ugh. I hate the way the comedies have gone.
Another request to say hi to Emily.
Hi, Emily.
You're going to have to do these from now on. They're saying hello to you in the chat. Hello. I don't know if you heard that. She said hello back. Yay. So, did you see Game Night, Cody? Cody?
No, I missed that one.
All right. Yeah,
it lasted a long time though. I was looking at the box office. It made decent money.
Yeah, it's doing all right. It did better than Annihilation, so.
Yeah.
Whatever the fuck that means. So like comedies, it seems to be either gross out humor or some sort of Judd Apatow thing.
Yeah.
Which technically is the same thing.
What's Annihilation again? I just don't know that movie.
Is John Cena is John Cena a big enough draw? Because like we were talking about The Rock, which wrestling history.
Yeah. No,
John
not
Cena
yet.
Is attention for like little cameos that he's done, and he's had like 3 lines that have been somewhat funny. Like he was in
Trainwreck,
Sisters. He was in Trainwreck, and so now I think he's just kind of getting that one movie. Like, all right, let's see what he can do. And I don't know, it's just
he was in what was it, Stepdads 2 or something like that, or
oh yeah,
I didn't see it. I just know like he was in it with. Well, wasn't he with Mark Wahlberg and stuff? Yeah, Daddy's Home. That's it.
Yeah.
So, was he?
Yeah, he was in that.
Yeah, he's like the third stepdad.
Yeah, like
I didn't see it, but I heard he was in it.
It's strange. I usually enjoy comedy, but it like now I'm trying to think about it. There's like this void.
Yeah, like comedy used to be. I mean, you'd get like sequels. You would get like an American Pie sequel or something like that once in a while. And then you would get like, it would seem like there would be your go-tos. Like you would have Jason Bateman or you would have Ryan Reynolds or somebody would have some movie out that year. But nowadays it just feels like it's the same kind of, like you said, the same like rated R, raunch, gross out humor with a story somewhat wrapped around it with whoever somebody has been talking about lately. And just kind of throw them on their screen. And I don't remember the last comedy that I've rushed out to the theaters to see, and I don't remember the last comedy that I've like genuinely laughed my ass off at. I expected nothing that I laughed my ass off at was Bad Moms, the first one, because it just has so much humor that if you're a parent, it is so fucking golden. But that's like the only one. Like I'm trying to think back, and I can't remember the last comedy that I saw that was like awesome.
Yeah. What's her name? Oh man,
Melissa McCarthy. She kind of took over for a while there too.
Well, there's a flavor of the month right now that she's got a new movie coming out. What the fuck is her name? What's that?
Oh yeah, you're talking about Kate McKinnon.
Yeah.
Well, Kate McKinnon's hot, but hot. I mean, comedically. Well, fuck it, she's hot.
Yeah.
What's her name? She was in that shitty movie with Goldie Hawn where they're on vacation.
Oh yeah.
What's her name?
About fucking Amy Schumer.
Amy Schumer. She's in a movie.
I Steal Jokes, Amy Schumer.
Yeah. So she's in a movie that comes out later that is essentially Shallow Hal.
Yes. Yeah. It looked kind of funny from the thing because she like bangs her head and all of a sudden thinks she's like a supermodel. Like she looks at herself and sees like that she's gorgeous. And so she acts like she's gorgeous. So it's like all the time, like she goes into a modeling agency and tells them she wants to work there, but she's like, I could model, but that's not where my heart is. And I'm like, it's kind of reverse Shallow Hal. It's kind of like she just looks at herself and sees supermodel.
I don't find her funny at all.
Right.
It just doesn't work for me.
To get with the Hollywood social platform, like, all right, so it's a woman in a lead, but at the same time, it's also like degrading, like it's just strange how these social battles get picked and some things just, nobody gives a shit about. And it's really strange that like nobody's in uproar over this. Double standards, it just seems, I don't, fuck it.
Always.
John's asking thoughts on the upcoming Superfly remake. It looks like complete shit. I haven't
I saw the trailer for it. I was just like, really? Okay.
Who's in it?
Go ahead.
Morris Chestnut? No, I don't know.
Tyler Perry's Superfly.
I don't know. I literally saw the trailer the other day and just went, okay, and moved on with my life and didn't give it another thought. It was just like, why is this a thing? But okay,
Have you guys seen the trailer for the Overboard remake?
Oh, with Anna Faris.
Oh Christ! Like you watch that trailer and I swear to God, you see a Walmart bargain bin.
Yeah.
It looks horrible.
Yeah. I love Kurt Russell. Like, I love Kurt Russell. That's not one of his great movies.
No, dude, it's fun.
It's okay. Hysterical in that movie.
It's okay, but then they're like, I know what we'll do. We'll flip it, and we'll make it the woman who's the thing, and the guy who's the dick. And it's like, and I'm like, okay.
It doesn't quite work in that context because guys are always the dicks in that context.
Yeah.
The funny thing about Overboard is that Goldie Hawn is the bitch.
That's the funny thing. It's like, and like, it is funny. Like, if you think about that, it's like kidnapping now. Exactly. You can't do that. You can't do that movie. It has to be the woman kidnapping the man because like you'd have too many things. People freaking out about it, like a man doing that to a woman, but it's okay for a woman to do that to a man.
It's double standards, man. It's just it's all right. Anna Faris she's done funny stuff too, which is kind of disappointing.
She must be paying for a divorce lawyer or something with that fucking movie. I don't know what's going on. But I saw the trailer for that, and I see her name, and I'm like, that could be funny. Anna Faris flipping your roles or whatever, sure. But then you see it, and like for whatever reason, they decide to make the guy like Armenian or something like that. Like that's the shtick with the character, and I watched the trailer, and I was shocked at how horrible it looks.
Yeah, it didn't look good.
It does. It looks like there's that movie I was talking about before with Goldie Hawn and Amy Schumer. There appears to be these like dog shit comedies that seem to be made specifically for like in-flight, exclusives or whatever. There was that Seth Rogen, Barbara Streisand movie that was just
oh my God.
Yeah, like there appears to be one of those a year where it's just like, oh, why? What is this? What's the purpose of this?
The Melissa McCarthy, Jason Bateman thing, the identity theft one. Like,
oh yes, that's another that awful one.
Exactly looks like that. Yeah, or Due Date.
Oh, I liked that with Robert Downey Jr.
Yeah, wait a minute, thinking about Due Date's not as bad.
planes, trains, and automobiles is all it was.
Yeah, basically.
I
Yeah,
never thought of it that way. Good point.
It wasn't as bad as them.
Which
So
Planes Trains is it should be R because of that fuck tirade he goes off on.
Oh, it's definitely well, yeah. It's like a raunchy. There you go. Not rated R. It's a raunchy version of Planes Trains. But yeah, if that's not rated R from that scene, I need to see these rules that we follow.
You're fucked.
Do we? I have a question about Ready Player One. Do we know if it played in China? This is my reason why.
Okay.
That scene that you guys were talking about that you love so much from that movie from the 80s.
Oh, Ghosts.
Has ghosts in it. And ghosts are not to be shown in any movie in China.
Mm-hmm.
So Ghostbusters was not allowed to be shown in China. China has a strict policy against no ghosts in their movies. Now, they're not real ghosts like in Ready Player One. Obviously, like it's supposed to be a digital program thing. So maybe they got around it like that. I don't know. But technically, if you can't show it because of that, you've lost a huge market.
Oh yeah.
Right? Like that's a massive market. And if that one scene kills that, they've just shot themselves in the foot by using that. Because like that also wasn't in the book at all. It wasn't referenced in the book. There's a whole nother movie referenced in the book, really hardcore. Like Blade Runner's referenced really hardcore, but
so the foreign totals 127 million. And the only thing that they have listed on Mojo is Colombia, Italy, Norway, and Portugal, and they combined for like 5 million. And I know Denmark had it because Dennis saw it, so they're not listing all the countries here.
Okay.
So I mean, 127 million is pretty strong.
Yeah.
I would assume China's part of that.
He's got it because it's just it made me think. I'm like, China doesn't let anything with ghosts in, and it's like that technically has ghosts, and it's like, or are they literally just going, yeah, but they're not real because it's a movie.
Yeah, it's a video.
It's a movie. It's a video game within a movie with it. Like, so it's not the same thing as like Poltergeist, right? Like, it's a very different kind of thing. But it's like, I don't know how the Chinese work their system. Like, they only take 37 freaking films a year from the U.S. So, like, I was just like, maybe like the guy was like, sorry, ghosts. Just like, didn't get it,
I'm trying to think if there was any, because like Independence Day was like, you could tell they were
pandering.
Yeah, they were pandering. That there's a polite word to use. Yes, pandering. I was trying to think if there was anything in Ready Player One. I mean, the main character looks kind of anime-y.
Yeah,
there's a ton of video game characters that would probably give boners over in China. So I mean, yeah.
Like the two,
it's like Easter egg every second. I mean, if you blink, you miss 3 Easter eggs. So
yeah, there's a ton of stuff in that movie.
Oh yeah. I'm pretty sure every in Oasis shot has Easter eggs upon Easter eggs upon Easter eggs. Like, good luck making an Easter egg video on YouTube for that shit.
Yeah. Well, I've seen them. Like, I haven't watched them yet, but it's like I've seen them. They're like, the one is like 50 minutes long.
Is there?
Yeah. It's like every Easter egg, and I'm like, how would you get every Easter egg? It's like there's too many to count. It's like
I caught Jason by accident. Like I just happened to be looking to that part of the screen when I saw him come and go. It was just like, oh, there he was, there, and there he went.
It is funny that like you don't see any Nintendo people at all. Like there's no Mario, there's no Luigi, there's no Booze, there's no.
Wreck-It Ralph's got that shit on lock.
Yeah, it's like none of that stuff is in there, and there was no Sega stuff, like, so you don't see Sonic the Hedgehog or any of that stuff. It's like
plenty of Microsoft. There's fucking
well, that's the Microsoft.
Halo,
tons of Microsoft stuff, Xbox stuff, but later like no Nintendo stuff because tons of people would be Nintendo avatars, like if that was the case, but like they can't be because they don't have the licensing for it. So like Battletoads was in there. I don't know, like that was cool. Yeah, if you look at the big battle running scene, like in the front, there's a couple of Battletoads from the video game Battletoads. So, but I was just like, but that wasn't like that was a Nintendo game, but it wasn't like it was Konami, so it was not exclusive to Nintendo. So I don't know.
Hmm.
Anyways, that was my thought about Ready Player One. I wasn't sure if it showed in China, and if they did, if it didn't, they missed out on a bunch of money because of picking the movie they did to go into. So,
well, if it's 37, you would like of the March releases, maybe they probably got Pacific Rim. Well, no, wait, they did because it did strong. It did.
They
really
had
strong.
They had to give Pacific Rim. It's like that's their wheelhouse, giant monsters, and
they're not going to get A Quiet Place. They're not going to get Cock Blocker.
Well, a Quiet Place they could get hypothetically because it's not ghosts. At least I don't think it's ghosts. I don't know, but I doubt
if you only have 37 movies to put on
for the whole year. That's all they take from the whole year.
They're going to take Avengers. They're going to take Avengers.
They're going to take Avengers for sure. So they'll take every Marvel movie, I'm sure. It's like, why wouldn't they? But
like 13.
Yeah.
There's 20 Marvel movies a year.
Yep.
All right, so 2 predictions. So this was the weekend that. Why can't I do it? What's going on here? I don't want to show that thing again. So this is the weekend that was. So like I said, this weekend, barring some sort of Tyler Perry movie, it's Cock Blockers and A Quiet Place. Peter, what are your predictions?
Okay, in first place, I can only imagine is going to skyrocket up. Those Christians and their stupid movies. No. It lasted 3 weeks though in the top 4. That's freaking insane.
Yeah, well, Easter came and gone. So
yeah, I know. Well, I told you like there weren't.
Oh, you're right. You're absolutely right.
There wasn't a lot of people out watching movies this weekend if they're Christians. I went because it's me. But
dancing.
All right, so Ready Player One, number
Repeating.
1.
Okay.
Yeah, it's gonna repeat. What is out this weekend? Cock Blockers,
Quiet Place.
Right, just those 2.
As far as I know, I mean,
because like you didn't even tell us about Acrimony last week. So.
My problem was I looked at Wednesday, only Wednesday.
Okay. Because I'm just like, I'm like, what the frick is Acrimony? And then it's like Tyler Perry. Okay, that makes a little bit of sense. All right, so yeah, Ready Player One. Then I'm gonna say A Quiet Place. Blockers, Black Panther.
All righty. Cody.
Ready Player One's going to stay at number 1.
God damn.
I think Quiet Place will take number 2. Black Panther will stay at number 3.
Wow.
Acrimony number 4. Blockers number 5.
Ooh, I hope you're right for the sake of Blockers being a failure, but
yeah.
God damn. You know what? I'm gonna say that Killer Flicks is gonna get the word out. Quiet Place number 1.
Really?
Fuck it. You know what? It's not like we're betting money or anything, right? Quiet Place number 1.
We're not betting money on this.
I'm waiting for my check. Quiet Place 1. Ready Player One 2. Blockers 3. Acrimony 4.
Really?
No. Yes. No. I mean,
none of us are writing this down, so none of us are actually
right. So
shit, I remember mine.
I've already forgotten mine, so this was like, what is it? Ready Player One.
OCD Horse is
Quiet Place.
Ready Player One needs $500 million to break even.
Oh, it'll get that domestically. It won't get that domestically, I don't think. But
it already did. It already did 127 internationally. So
yeah, it'll get it worldwide, and then of course, there's the whole.
I'm curious where that number came from. You're telling me that was a $300 million movie?
Oh yeah, good point, Cody.
Did he say 500 million or?
Yeah.
Yeah, 500 million to break even. I don't even think Star Wars needs 500 to make
Is that
even.
without?
I'm looking at the budget for that movie real quick. Go ahead.
Is that without marketing?
Dude, marketing usually isn't that high.
Well, no, it's like maybe 30%.
Yeah.
So OCD Horror again is saying Quiet Place projections are 27 million. If Ready Player One has a normal movie drop, Quiet Place will easily take it. Yeah, that's yeah. If that's accurate, then
I don't much, man.
I don't think it's going to drop that much.
Get it going.
Yeah, it could be a tight. I mean,
take your kids to.
Yeah. If it does, like, shit, I can only imagine it's just taking forever to drop normally.
It's you know what it is.
$175 million budget, 175 million. So it needs about 350 to break even.
Yeah, with advertising and all that crap.
Yeah, 175. Nobody's spending 2.5 times their budget on advertising.
Not for a summer early movie.
Yeah.
I can only imagine it's turned into the Greatest Showman of freaking March.
Yeah,
you know the Greatest Showman just hung on at 4th place forever.
Right, but that'll come to an end.
It should come to an end, but we'll see. I don't know.
I mean, if God's Not Dead couldn't muster anything up,
they're vastly different movies. Like I can only, oh no, they are, because I Can Only Imagine is about a song. Like it's the whole thing is it's about a song, a Christian song that is one of the most famous Christian songs written in the last 20 years, and it's about the guy who wrote it, and so like I guarantee you, like every Christian like goes to a church that sings knows that song. So that's why it's done well, because it's like, oh, how did that song come about? Let's find out. It's like it's that kind of thing, and then it got good word of mouth. That's what's kept it going. Where God's Not Dead 2 or God's Not Dead 3 or whatever it is, it's just people are kind of tired of that already. Like the first one made 60 million, the second one made 20. So there was already a big drop off, and this one made 2 its opening weekend. I know. Again, dude, I had I'm a Christian, and I fully have yet to see the movie because I couldn't stomach it. Brian Lomax watched it and said it was the worst movie he saw that year. But I had Christians tell me how great the movie was, because they don't watch movies. They go, "Oh, it's such a great movie," and I'm like, "What movies have you seen exactly that you're comparing this to?" It's like, because you don't know movies.
If you talk to anybody, and you're a prime example, if you talk to anybody who is a devout Christian and is a movie fan, I've never talked to any of those people that say, "Oh, Christian movies are great."
No,
they're usually like, "No, Christianity's great, but those movies are fucking dog shit." That's usually what I hear.
There are some movies that have Christian stuff in them that are freaking awesome.
Hacksaw Ridge.
Those are Hacksaw Ridge. Like, what's it called? The one that Brendan Gleeson. Frick. Me and Bran were talking about. It's about a priest who basically is told he's going to die in a week, like he's going to be killed, and he I can't remember what it's called, but it's a Brendan Gleeson movie. But there's a bunch of like movies about Christians that would be considered Christian movies that are freaking great, well made, well acted, real actors. God's Not Dead is not one of them. It's like
the propaganda movies or the
propaganda movies that let's tear down other people and make ourselves. They're all terrible.
I was forced to watch God's Not Dead with a girl that I was dating before I met Holly, and I'm telling you, dude, it took every amount of wanting to fuck this chick to not in my own house. I swear. I was sitting there. I'm like, why the fuck is Hercules preaching to me about Christianity? And it's just, that movie was so ridiculous. And you get all the way to the end, and oh my god.
Yeah, no, I couldn't watch it.
How horrible it is.
It is. It's awful. Like I said, Brian Lomax is like, it's the worst movie of the year, and that guy is like super Christian guy.
Daniel Hammond is saying that it's Cavalry that you're thinking of.
Yes,
Peter.
Yes, yeah, that's the movie.
Yeah.
But
do you count Last Temptation of Christ as a Christian movie?
It's a good question. I don't know. I've only seen part of it. I had trouble watching it, I'll be honest.
It's a little.
It's not. It's this Scorsese drastically.
It's Scorsese doing.
It's Scorsese drastically. It's as close to the Bible as Ready Player One is to the book. Wait,
Ready Player One to the Bible, or
no? It's pretty much. It's vastly different. and I respect Scorsese for everything he does, but I wouldn't call that a Christian movie per se. Like now, Silence, I would. He wrote and directed Silence, or didn't write it. He screenplayed, helped with the screenplay and stuff. That I'd call a Christian movie. But,
so in the chat, they're bringing up quite an interesting debate. A Quiet Place relies heavily on silence. I mean, it's kind of a gimmick movie.
Yeah.
In today's day and age, in modern movie theaters, do you think people might be turned off to go see that movie because of people using their cell phones, fucking, just being millennials?
I don't think so. I think people usually don't think about that kind of shit until they're sitting in the movie and then they see one cell phone go off and they go, "Oh, fuck this shit." Again.
Yeah, so, I agree. I don't think so.
Yeah. Oh man, I hope
people are bad, but they're not to the maybe some young teens, but young teens aren't going to be in that anyways. But
really,
it's a rated R thing. Hopefully they won't be.
No, it's PG-13.
Is it really? Oh, I thought it was rated R. I don't know. I don't think a lot of young teens are going to be interested in it. I think if you ask the average 13-year-old what they'd rather see that or Ready Player One, most of them will pick Ready Player One. But I think the people that are in that movie, if you wanted to see that movie, you're just going to shut up and watch it. It's because that's part of the thing. Like you said, is they can't make a sound, so it's like them trying to be quiet. So it's going to be ultra noticeable if you pull out your cell phone and be like,
well, it made me think, I'm thinking of movie watchers movies, and the last two movie watchers movies that I could think of are Annihilation and Blade Runner, and they both did horribly.
Yeah.
At least in the States.
That had a lot to do with marketing as well, though. So, I mean...
Yeah.
For both... I mean, Blade Runner was marketed.
Blade Runner, I don't know what the heck the problem was. I honestly
Blade Runner, it was marketed, but they weren't telling you what the movie was about. Blade Runner's back. And if you weren't a Blade Runner fanatic, which if you weren't a Blade Runner fanatic, which most people on Earth are not, money is as great as Blade Runner is. I've grown to really enjoy it, but the box office proves that that's kind of a niche movie. You get a lot of people that say what you were saying earlier. They've seen it once. Okay, I don't see what the big deal is, and that's usually the popular opinion. Yeah. So you put a movie out saying, "Hey guys, more of that." And you're going to turn off that entire demographic. If you put out that trailer and you get everybody that just watches movie trailers to decide what to see, they go, "I don't know what the fuck this movie's about." You lost them. Yeah. So really, the only people that went to see it were hardcore Blade Runner fans and people that pay attention to the Oscars.
Also, the people that if you watch them in interviews, they go, "What's the movie about?" And they'd all go, "I can't tell you." Literally, they're like, "I literally can't tell you what it's about."
And the silly thing is, you could have marketed that movie and not given really any spoilers. All you had to do, the basic idea of the movie is, okay, a replicant apparently had a child, and now we got to figure out how the fuck that happened.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah. But no, they didn't tell. I went into it not knowing that Ryan Gosling's character was a replicant. When I sat down, I didn't know. It was like, oh, okay, so he's a replicant. Okay, and it's like, but... There's a debate on Brian's thing still about was Harrison Ford's character a replicant or not. That's still going.
That's cynical.
I had some convincing points because I haven't seen Blade Runner enough to really dive into that to make a clear decision one way or the other. But I was like, dude, sell me, and he told me why, and I was like, okay, that's enough.
See, I'm still not sold. I'm still not sold for very simple reasons. And that is if his whole job was he was created to hunt down other replicants, why not make him stronger and smarter and faster? And no, they didn't make him any of that. They made him alcoholic. How does that help you in your job? And he's not as strong as the other replicants he's facing. He's not as fast as them. He literally he wins half the time by accident. And it's like we spent millions and millions and millions on this one guy for his sole purpose and gave him all these fake memories for the sole purpose of him hunting down other guys, but
Dude.
we didn't equip him enough.
Dude, Arnold,
that doesn't make,
Arnold in Terminator, man, he gets
sense.
his shit fucked up. In Terminator 2.
What does that have to do with it?
It's the same premise. If you're going to create a Terminator to kill Terminators, why not make him stronger to...
Oh, no, in Terminator 2, they send him back because they've captured him and reprogrammed him. They know he's not as good as the Terminator they've sent after. That's been sent after them, the metal one.
Right.
So that's
the liquid one, the T1.
Yeah. So that's to me. That's why he's not a replicant. It's like, and
that's why.
It makes no freaking sense. The whole crux is that whole unicorn thing. And like when they filmed the thing, Harrison Ford was like, "I'm not a replicant," and like Ridley Scott was, "You're not a replicant. Don't worry." He's like, "I'm not a replicant. My character's not a replicant." And he's like, "Yeah, you're not." And then later he's like, "You're a replicant." And he's like, "I am not." And they fought about it. And like the guy who wrote the novels, like, "No, he's not a replicant." And like Ridley Scott's like, "Oh yes, he is." And it's like, so it's like, I still think it's pretty much up to anybody's interpretation you want it to be, because even the people filming it can't agree on that crap, and that's okay.
Yeah, that's fine that it's that way. It's that Han shot first shit. You're on this side, I'm on this side. Now we can talk about it.
Except Han literally did shoot first. But it's like you have definitive proof of that.
Until George Lucas switched that shit around.
Messed with everybody's childhood and went, "Look what I can do with special effects."
It seems your sci-fi movie isn't really like cult worthy unless it has like at least 2 cuts of the film. And Blade Runner has like what, 5, 4?
4.
Something like that.
Yeah.
4.
So Alien I think has 3.
Alien has
with Blade Runner though is that they only have one cut that all the fans say you should watch. Like I've never heard a Blade Runner fan say, "No, don't bother with the ultimate cut. Watch the theatrical second cut." Like, you know what I mean?
Well, it is like, have you ever seen the theatrical cut?
I've watched pieces of it. I know the big difference is the voiceovers, which
the voiceover
purposely sucked ass on because he hated them.
When I watched it as a teenager and stuff, like, I thought, oh, it was okay. You know, later on when I watched it and the voiceover wasn't there, I was like, thank God I saw the first part, because I'm like, I would have no clue what's going on. And I'm like, I remember the voiceover, but like now I'm like, yeah, okay, you don't need the voiceover, I get it. But you know, it's like as a younger guy, I was like, thank God I had that voiceover, because I just didn't, you know, I would have been confused as anything, but you know. So I appreciate it now. Like, I don't want the voiceover in it, but you know, back then I totally appreciated the voiceover. So.
The funny thing about the Harrison Ford thing too is that was the main thing that turned me off the first time I saw that movie, because I didn't really know much about Blade Runner. You see Harrison Ford on the cover and the way that the movie is, and you assume that he's like this badass.
Yeah.
And I watched the movie. I'm like, he's getting his shit fucked up the whole movie. Like, he's getting his ass beat. Like every time he goes to get a replicant, they slam him against a wall and his fucking gun flies off, and they're like, "Damn, Harrison."
And that's why if you're gonna build someone to go hunt people, you might want to make them as strong as them at least. But you know,
was Blade Runner before or after Indiana Jones?
After,
I think it was. I don't know.
Because I was thinking he had him as Han Solo first. That was definitely first. And then if it all depends on
Indiana Jones. Indiana Jones might have been first.
I'm pretty sure it was.
Because if it was,
they cast that. Raiders of the Lost Ark was 81, Blade Runner 82.
Okay, so it's a nice I can't put myself in the 1982 mindset. What people were expecting from Harrison Ford.
Watch Ready Player One, you'll be fine.
Which is probably a nice change of pace, where you're like, oh, Harrison Ford's going to save the day, but you know, he gets his ass kicked, which is quite
it's quite different than what you're expecting.
Sure. So that should about do it for this week. Peter, what do you? We'll do this real quick. What do you have coming up, Peter?
Well, I have a plethora of things that I have coming up. Mainly hanging out on CP's channel, and then after that, I'm going to be hanging out on CP's channel.
So here again,
side serving of hanging out on CP's channel. So,
very well.
That's about it.
Bearded Movie Guy is a channel in case you want to go.
I have like over 200 reviews on it.
Go binge watch.
Blade Runner is one of them.
Hey, there you go.
Ready Player One is not. So you know.
Cody.
Actually, I do talk about the book on my channel. So there you go.
So go find it.
Yeah.
Cody, you just took part in an interview, even though it was done somewhere else first. I'll just keep saying that, but that was yesterday's news.
Yes, exactly. This is the ultimate cut.
The theatrical director's cut of the alternate version of midichlorians of the what? Sorry, I don't know.
Exactly. I just did an interview last night on the horror show, so that was a lot of fun. Those guys are really cool. Had me on there for about an hour. Fun little interview. So check that out. Check their channel out as well. They're pretty. They got a very horror focused channel, if you can't tell by the name. But yeah, they do news and all that kind of stuff. So they get some entertaining stuff over there.
Cody, you called me.
What I've got coming out.
Well, hold on, let me cut you off for a second. You called me one of the big yarb YouTubers, and I was like, "Your check's in the mail, buddy." And they didn't say that part. I'm like, "You'll know what it means." Say that part.
Yeah, I know. CP's thanking you for calling one of the big guys, and I just took it to the dick jokes. So.
Yeah. Sorry, didn't mean to cut
you. That's very good. So as far as my channel, the only thing that I'm going to be focusing on right now for the next 2 weeks is finishing up Friday the 13th. I've gotten the first 6 out. I marathoned all the rest of them this weekend, and that was a rough fucking marathon. So expect the New Blood very soon. Then obviously I'll have Manhattan followed right behind that. Jason Goes to Hell, Jason X, the remake. I am going to do Never Hike Alone. If I get pressed for time, I may do Never Hike Alone after the 13th, because on April 13th, being that it's a Friday the 13th, my goal is to do a ranking video for the Friday the 13th videos that day. So I'm trying to kick ass and try to get all these videos done before then. So I don't really think I'm going to be doing anything else. Probably not going to do a Ready Player One review. I did a Stardust reaction. That's enough for me. And if A Quiet Place kicks that much ass, I might squeeze that one in. But just hold me to Friday the 13th.
Friday the 13th.
You got 11 days worth of Friday the 13th content to get out. And then it's obscure. That doesn't make any sense. You told me, like, I don't want to spoil anything about what you said about Jason Goes to Hell. So we had a discussion, and I'll wait till that goes public. But without spoiling anything, what are your quick thoughts on Jason X?
Okay. Jason X, I think, is one of the more fun to watch. It's one of the more just pure blind entertainment to watch, but it is one of the ones that ages like shit the most.
Is that the one where he goes to space?
Yes. That's the newest one.
I haven't seen it since the 2000s when it came out. Like when it first came out, I thought that movie was a lot of fun. I was like, this is kind of cool. It's just schlocky madness.
How drunk were you? Sorry.
Sober as a 13-year-old. But yeah, so without spoiling it, I still enjoy Jason X on a mindless level of, hey, let's just give Jason something fun to do. But there's some aspects of that movie that age like shit. So I'm going to be getting into that.
Okay. All right. Maurice the Beast asks, is Pitch Wars coming back?
Unfortunately, probably not. Just because I discussed this actually in my interview too. They were asking about, they gave me a question that kind of pertained to that. I loved doing Pitch Wars. Like I did 2 episodes. One of them was with CP. A lot of fun. I thought it was a really cool concept.
You put so much work into that shit too.
Yeah, exactly. That's the problem. Is on my end of things, it takes so much time and energy and preparation with writing the script, coordinating the shooting of the collab, editing the collab, putting all the bells and whistles, all that kind of stuff. And it was like 200 views. So I mean, the people that loved it. And that's the thing that's awesome. The people that loved it, like Maurice, I know is obviously a huge fan of it. The people that loved it, and that was awesome to get so many people's glowing praise for that. But for the time it takes, I mean, I can do a 3-minute review and get 8,000 views in a week easily. Yeah. But I'll dump 8 hours into this video and get 200 views in its lifetime. It just doesn't make sense. So maybe down the line I might revive it, but nowhere in the near future.
Could Patreon influence it if you adjusted it somehow to an elevator pitch or or something?
Possibly, but with the amount of time that I have to record anymore with the job and the kids and everything like that, I don't think I would even want to kind of go down that road. I think I'm comfortable just being able to get 1 or 2 reviews out a week and just kind of ride that for a while. And if my time opens up, or if I get some awesome idea, like, hey, let's do a Nightmare on Elm Street pitch and there's excitement for it or something like that, maybe. But at the moment, right now, it's one of my least interested things that I'd want to do, just because I know how much work has to go into it. Not to sound lazy, but it's just logistics. The amount of time that I have to do stuff like that, it just doesn't make sense.
No. In other news, on my channel, I'm going to be starting Bitch Wars, where I ask 2 different dogs movie questions. Tune in; it's going to be epic.
Yes, I'll just keep doing trailers on my channel.
Yes.
Yeah. So
you can do a trailer for Bitch Wars. It'll be great. Don't worry.
Yeah. A trailer for Bitch Wars. Over this
here, Lassie is going to be going against Benji in an epic throwdown of massive proportions.
So to pseudo, if things work out, I'll be coinciding with Cody with the Friday the 13th thing. I have stuff planned for Friday the 13th regardless. A top 5 Final Girls, the top 5 Jasons, which should surprise a lot of people.
I knew what the Final Girls won. You want to know how? Because you put the graphic up earlier.
Could you tell I was working on something before? Which will be early for patrons. I'll probably do Quiet Place. We're going to a screening tomorrow night. I don't know if I'll get it out Wednesday, maybe Thursday. But yeah, like Cody, I'm not focusing on 8, 9, and 10 because who the fuck would want to do that? But yeah, I have stuff themed for Friday the 13th.
Yes.
We'll at least find out who the modern slasher pitch. Who won? Oh, Cody did. You won the modern slasher pitch.
Yes.
Yeah. I could have told you that. I could have told you that when we were recording it. Yeah. So that's it, guys. Say goodbye to everybody.
Goodbye to everybody.
Bye, guys.